What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with another tier list video for the month of March 2022, and this month is going to be cool because we're having the global 7th anniversary celebration, and obviously the celebrations have been hit or miss, I suppose. Despite that, the characters that are releasing are very good, and I'm very excited to talk about them today. Also, just on top of that, we've got 6+ Doflamingo to put on here, as well as Kara and Wanda have to join the ranks too. So Kara and Wanda obviously came out during the Treasure Map Sugo Fest in the middle of February. Didn't get a chance to put them in last month's tier list, but we're going to go ahead and talk about them today. But before we actually talk about the new units joining the ranks and going through the tier list itself, we have to go through my criteria. So first of which is the overall power of the unit. How much damage can they output? Are they going to be hitting extremely hard against multiple different types of enemies? How fast are they as a captain? What is their speed like? How fast can they clear content? And also, how reliable are they at clearing that said content? What is their clear rate? Is there content out there in One Piece Treasure Cruise that particular unit just straight up can't clear? Obviously, that's going to dock points from the unit. And the usability and the versatility of the unit, using the character in various pieces of content, and also being able to inject that unit into multiple different teams is obviously a huge benefit to that unit. So I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and start scrolling up this tier list and see what we've got. So tier 5, these are all the exact same tiers as last month's tier list, and we may need to make some adjustments along the way. But honestly, considering what had come out in February, I don't think there's really any changes that I really want to make at this current point in time, to be honest. We can go to tier 4 here. I actually did pull Nami and Usopp during the anniversary Sugo Fest, but my opinion on this unit still stands. I think this unit is just a terrible design, and they probably should have made them a little bit better than what they currently are. I get that you can cheese content with them, but personally, not a huge fan of this unit. I may try them out during the month, we'll see what happens, but currently not the biggest fan of this unit. Legend Frankie at the top here is also one of my favorites recently, due to the fact that he's very good in those arena content against damage limiter. Like him plus Toki is just GG. And unfortunately, with Arena Queen that actually came out during the start of the month, there was no damage limiter, so Frankie really wasn't like an optimal captain to use. Yeah, he could definitely still do it. At least I'm pretty sure he could still do it with the right friend captain. But honestly, like, you know, Frankie's not really going anywhere. A lot of people think it's weird that he's up this high, but if you guys have seen some content out there of people using him to clear the arenas with the damage limiter, it's absurd how good it is. The rest of these characters here are okay. I mean, V1 Katakuri, I mean, this character is just not that good anymore, to be honest. Like, a lot of people, like, will get upset that, like, I rank that character so low. But, like, realistically, as much as I love the character, and this is someone who is absolutely in love with Katakuri, right? This unit is just not that good anymore. His captain ability is definitely on the weaker side of things, and his special ability doesn't really help in a lot of teams. Like, you can put him in other different teams, but he doesn't help that much. Personally, not the biggest fan of Katakuri. Brook, I mean, Brook's fine to stay here, but considering like all the super bosses that come out in the future, at least to our knowledge, are going to have, or to our assumptions, are going to resist the Brook zombie teams. So Brook kind of gets devalued a little bit. But yeah, no, I know that people love to use this character to cheese like high difficulty content. Personally, not a big fan of this unit though. V3 Blackbeard, you hate to see it. The rest of these characters are relatively okay, to be honest. And shout out to Magellan, though. Magellan, on release, was such a cool unit, but using him in content, he's just not fun, and he just doesn't really work that well. He's very clunky, and his super type condition is kind of bad, and his super type special in and of itself is also kind of bad. So just a really poor design there, unfortunately. Let's move up, though, to tier 3. We've got a couple of powerful units in here. Speaking of the Sugo Medal Exchange that's coming out in March as well, we've got the Sweet Commanders, who are actually pullable in that, as well as the Allman crew, Legend Jack, also pullable. So all three of those units are pretty nice to have, for sure. The support effect of the Sweet Commanders is also exceptional. But as for the rest of these units, again, not really many changes that I personally want to make. I probably want to put Onami a little bit higher. I don't know why I have her here. She should probably be like near the top of this, to be honest. Like, the fact that you can get the self-proccing conditional and an affinity boost, so good. Mihawk and Peruna, I guess I'd probably put Mihawk and Peruna a little bit higher just because they can get like a guaranteed conditional, which is kind of nuts. Onami can get it if the enemy has defense down immunity, but then you also have to be at full HP, so a lot of things have to align in order for you to get the full effect of Onami. But realistically, with Mihawk and Peruna, it's relatively easy to get that conditional boost, which is good. Even if an enemy has like a stack of immunities, like immune to delay, immune to defense down, immune to poison, all of that. You can still use NakkiPeruna for a conditional boost, which is so good. But let's go ahead and move on to tier 2. So we're getting high up there now, and we see a lot of powerful units in here, namely Final Tap Luffy at the top there. I don't really think I want to move that, even though I did use him in this Kizuna that recently expired here on Global. He was really good for that. Obviously, if you're up against strength content, this Luffy is going to be very good for that. Having a super type special that can grant a relatively good chain boost as well. But when you got a character like Yamato, it's like, if I'm going to use a chain boost, I'm probably going to use Yamato. I mean, even like Borsalino V2, who's also in this same tier, has a very good chain boost. Even V2 Shirahoshi Mancherry is another solid option for a good chain boost. I mean, for a super type special, it's a good one, but just the rest of his kit is just very boring. Wish there was a little bit more utility, at least in his captain effect, would have been a huge addition to the unit. I love Koala, actually. I think she's like kind of underrated. She was pretty surprising when I used her last month. Actually pretty decent, to be honest. And I probably want to bump Mihawk above Marco. I definitely like Mihawk a little bit more as a captain. I know that Marco, again, can be one of those real clunky units because you have to do certain things in order to get the whole effect to activate. Just a weird unit in general. I wish he was tweaked a little bit to be like slightly different, but still not a bad unit either way. Bonnie, I think, is still very solid. I think Bonnie's actually better than Marco as well, to be honest. The utility that you get from her, good captain ability, good special ability that can be put into so many different teams. To be honest, Bonnie's like way higher. Yeah, Bonnie's definitely up here. She's so good. And these two together are just god tier combination. Boa is still pretty solid. Snake Man, Robin Jinbei. It sucks that Robin Jinbei are this low, but I mean the captain ability is just bad, to be honest. I mean, okay, I gotta rephrase that. The captain ability is good, but if you're using them as a captain, their special is not good as a captain. Their special is definitely suited to be used as a crewmate on your team, and then you're better off to have another captain that can do something better than what they do as a captain, because they're still like up to a 5x boost to Fighter and Cerebral, which is nothing to scoff at. But when you have a special that is ultra defensive and utility based, you know, you may want to run a hybrid style team where you can have a boosted effect like an attack or orb or whatever it is with a friend captain comparatively to, you know, double Robin Jinbei. So that's my opinions on that. They're a good unit, but definitely better as a crewmate. And the rest of these characters are relatively solid. I mean, like, this Boa Hancock is actually got a really good special, good utility, Chain Locker, and it's for Free Spirit, does base attack boost as well, so partners up very well with two of the brand new legends that debuted this month, so you'd love to see that. And let's go ahead and move on up to tier 1. So we're getting very close now to the top. So at the top here, we have Capone Crew still at the top. Honestly, I want to bump him down. I personally don't use this unit that much, and this is my own personal tier list. I know that a lot of people really rate Capone Crew super highly, but personally, I just don't like using this unit. As a sub, this unit's awesome, but I don't like how slow and defensive this unit is. And yeah, for difficult content, it's going to be great. Personally, not my playstyle. I definitely want to bump it a little bit lower. I think that Croc is a more desirable unit to have. I think King's pretty close. I think I'll leave King slightly there. Yeah, he's fine. And I do think Kaido Crew and Kaido, they're relatively close because they're not units you're going to use all the time. I mean, Kaido, you know, depending on the situation, depending on what content you're going up against, Kaido's going to be that go-to unit. But again, with the prevalence of normal attacks only and defensive effects, Kaido isn't as valuable. But of course, if you're still a lower level player or a mid-level player, having Kaido just to like breeze through all this other content that you may need to farm, like older Colosseums, older raid bosses, older events just in general, even training forests, like Kaido just breezes through it. So for that reason, yeah, Kaido's still a really good unit to have, but for more endgame players, Kaido just isn't as desirable as the other units here. Dogstorm is super awesome unit. V2 Shirahoshi Mancherry, I mean, I love this unit so much. I honestly want to bump them up that high because this unit just does so much. And not only do they provide like a great utility, they do orb change, they do amazing healing, and then they also give you one of the best chain boosts in the game. Like, this unit is just unparalleled, and a really good switch effect too, and has a couple of cool unique support effects too. Like, Shirahoshi Mancherry is just a god unit, dude. Wano Law I still think is super solid. Do I think that some of these other units are better though? I mean, Wano Law is still pretty good, and not a lot of units can do what Wano Law actually does with the good orb change, with the orb boost, with the chain boundary. He's a really solid unit, but there are conditions that you need to fulfill in order to get all of those boosts to activate. So, you know, there's give and take. There's give and take with a lot of units. VV's still really good. Ulti Page 1, I love this unit. Ulti Page 1's really good. If you ever get a situation where you can use it, it's probably worth using because it's one of those units that can get the guaranteed conditional boost, switch effect, granting chain boundary effect. Wicked unit. Katakuri is solid, but mono powerhouse really brings him down. And then you got this guy, Lucci, who's a really solid unit all round. And to be honest, Lucci probably is a better unit than Katakuri. But then you're in like this situation here with like Kaido. I was looking at the tier list before I recorded, and I was thinking I might bump this Kaido down. And the reason for it is because his special ability, while it is a very good special, there's not too many instances where you're like, okay, I'm gonna bring this Kaido literally just because his effect is that good. In a lot of situations, yeah, that special is good, but again, it's very easily blocked by the enemy. And if you get that blocked, he's just like a sitting duck. He doesn't really do anything. His captain ability is still pretty good though. You know, providing up to a 5x boost the turns his special is launched. But again, it's still that situation of, you know, if there's normal attacks only, if they just resist the increased damage taken, then Kaido doesn't really do that much. So to be honest, I feel like I want to bump him down. Maybe around Moria's tier here. Kaido Big Mom's still a super good unit. I love them. They're still really good. Don't use them that much, but sometimes you just need that unit, right? Plus they can have so many good supports attached to them. Really helps out a lot. So, the Straw Hats are still super solid units. I don't use them that much, but they're fine. Moria is one of the most underrated in the game. Sugar for her shenanigans. Perona is basically super type Katakuri, but better. And then you've got Carrot with her 6+ is very nice for speed farming. Basically worse versions of Cat Dog. Depends on the situation. Sometimes Carrot might be a little bit better if you need the captain swap for, like if you need a certain captain for one thing, and then you can switch into Carrot later on to bypass a defensive effect on one of the stages. That's a very good way to use Carrot. And then Sober Masters, because you can just cycle his specials so quickly, and he's a rainbow unit. He provides full board matching slots. The fact that he provides tandem slots as well, I think, is a huge benefit, because there are some units that can manipulate tandem to another type of slot, or you can just manipulate tandem into something else via a special, right? So Sober Mask captain effect is just terrible. Like, it's super outdated, but special ability alone and the crewmate effect on top of that really keeps him in this top tier, in my opinion. I love this unit. We're just going to look at tier 0 and top 5 at the same time here. Now, I do think Shanks' crew is going to get bumped down for the first time in a really long time. We're going to leave him in tier 1 here. I think the rest of these units are relatively okay. I think I want to put Law slightly above. I'll put Dofi a little bit lower. I like this Dofi, but again, mono-driven just is not fun. I really want to bump him down even further, to be honest. Yeah, I'm happy with that, to be honest. Like, I don't like mono-driven that much, because I was, like, using a little bit of the 6+ Doflamingo this month, and while, you know, Dofi's fine, mono-driven is just, like, pretty average. I mean, there's some good units, but, like, I definitely like the fact that you could use, like, Moria with powerhouse and driven units. You get a lot more variety, and the team building is way easier, and you're able to just get access to so many better units. Because driven by themselves are okay, but if you have driven and powerhouse, like, you know, versus Akainu, for example, as well, it's just a whole different story. Speaking of the rest of tier 0 though, so we got, you know, versus Akainu, I think is easily still one of the best units in the game. And of course, this is all my personal opinion. If you guys disagree with it, that's perfectly okay. I wouldn't really be shocked if a lot of people have Ace v Akainu in their top 5. I think that's perfectly reasonable to say. Whitebeard v Shanks, super underrated. Oden, god tier unit, especially because you get hybrid with so many good units in the game. Kid, another really powerful unit. A lot of people kind of underrate this one. I think a lot of people think Law is better. On initial release, I thought Law was better as well, but after continuous usage throughout the months, Kid is way more valuable to own. There's so many instances where I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad I have Kid in this specific circumstance rather than Law. Though Law is very good in Kizuna clashes, just because he can get an attack boost for so many units and apply increased damage taken through immunity. Like, that is just insane. But then Kid everywhere else is like just nutty. The fact that he can be so flexible and be an attack booster or an orb booster or an affinity booster. Super tight special for a full board of matching slots as well. You'd love to see it. And then you got Ace and Sabo. I think this is another one of those units that a lot of people would probably have in their top 5. I personally don't think they're that level, because I don't like the fact that they're a rainbow captain with a free spirit and shooter orb boosting special. That's annoying as hell, but if that was a rainbow orb boost, this unit probably would be in my top 5, but that really restricts their team building that you can do with this unit. Though the swap and the super swap, really powerful. But then we get to top 5, where we got Yamato, Toki, Roger Whitebeard, and of course Luffy and the Straw Hats as the #1 position. Now personally, I think I want to bump Toki up. I think Toki is the third best unit in the game, personally, right now. And I think Roger and Yamato are a little bit closer together. I haven't used V1 Roger in a really long time, to be honest, but Toki I use consistently every single month. She's always there. She's just a god in every single game mode. If you want her in the training forest, you want her for Kizuna specifically, amazing. If you're able to use her in a treasure map, I mean, it's perfectly okay. You can use her there as well. Good in PvP as well. Like, Toki is just incredible in almost every way. And the rest of these units aren't really changing. But now we get to the really fun part of adding the new units into the tier list. So the first unit we're going to be adding here is going to be the Carrot and the Wanda unit. Now, bro, this unit is really poorly designed, in my opinion. Their captain ability is just super whack. I don't like the fact that they are restricting you in the same way as V1 Katakuri, where you do need like the specific classes on that one unit in order to get the full boost. That is super detrimental, and I didn't think that we're going to go back to that in 2022. I thought for sure we were past that stage, especially with the evolution of 6+ Carrot, now not requiring both classes on the one unit. As long as that one unit had one of those classes, you got the full boost. And I thought for sure we were past this, but no, they've gone back to their old ways, giving Carrot and Wanda the stupid condition. So literally, due to that really terrible captain effect, I do want to put them into tier 2. Though, saying that, they are not a bad unit. I'm going to put them maybe at near the top of tier 2. Another thing about Carrot and Wanda that kind of pisses me off is the fact that their special ability provides their own normal attacks to bypass defensive effects, whereas you already have a Carrot and Dog and Cat that do it naturally in their captain effect. So I think it's very strange that Carrot and Wanda, at least in their dual form, at a bare minimum, just do it for the whole team, or all the characters that have that class. It is weird that they don't do it for the whole team, and it's only for themselves. Huge downside there. But they have a pretty okay swap effect, and their special ability is very good, very unique, as it gives -3 cooldown upon special activation, which is like nothing that we've seen before. Like, that obviously is super unique, but how often do you need -3 cooldown on a special to get around special reverse? Typically, you don't need that much, but hey, you never know. Moving forward, it might be one of the most useful effects ever. We'll wait and see, but Carrot and Wanda, probably the biggest disappointment of this month. So the next one is 6+ Doflamingo. Dofi V2, man, this was a character that a lot of people didn't think was ever going to get a super evolution just due to the nature of his special, but I think what they did was kind of like what they had to do for him. They had to give him some type of effect that would occur even if normal attacks only was present, because if they are present, it makes his special pointless and useless. It just doesn't provide anything to your team. So the fact that they gave driven characters 2.5 attack boost upon special activation if you're inflicted with normal attacks only, additional beneficial slots as well, I think that's awesome. However, there are again some misses here, because I think his special should have just made all type slots matching rather just sight and int, because it means that you still have to run other effects to make your other slots matching, or you have to run other effects to just give you a full board of matching slots. Very detrimental. Captain ability though, they did amazing upgrades there. I mean, especially with Limit Break expansion, he gets like -1 cooldown, goes up to a 4.75 times attack boost with a matching slot. He's just a wicked unit. Again, mono driven though, so personally I'm not the biggest fan of the unit, but he is still incredibly powerful. I'm going to put him around this tier right now, probably a little bit lower, yeah, around here. I think that looks good, because I'd definitely rather use these characters over Doflamingo, but I think Dofi's a really solid upgrade, and if we can continually get 6+s on the same level, if not better than Doflamingo, then we're in good hands, and hopefully we can see more of that in 2022. Now we get to talk about the global 7th anniversary units, first of which we're going to talk about Oden first, which is the character that I personally pulled. As of the recording of this video, I have not pulled Kinemon and Denjiro, got very unlucky on the Sugo Fest just in general, but yeah, well, hopefully we get better luck moving forward. But in terms of the Oden, I've used him a little bit so far, and he has been pretty impressive. He's been pretty much what I expected though, like reading his stuff on paper and actually using him. It was as I expected. Sometimes when you read a character's abilities on paper and then you actually use them, it may differ in terms of what you were expecting. And the biggest instigator of that was V2 Akainu, because reading his abilities on paper, when you compare him to V2 Kuzan, like V2 Kuzan just sounded way better on release, but then when you actually use Akainu, you're like, holy crap, this end of turn damage is incredibly broken. But then when you go to like Oden, like, yeah, I mean, you read his abilities on paper, you use him in content, yeah, it's pretty much what I expected. He's a very good unit. Captain ability providing boost to Slasher and Free Spirit, he himself being the Slasher super class unit, which is great by the way. I'm really glad it wasn't a Zoro character. I mean, I'm sure we're going to get another Zoro character in the future at some point, but I'm glad that at least Oden was the first super class Slasher. It makes it a little bit easier to build for Slashers anyway. But he's also a Free Spirit unit, so you can run full Free Spirit team with him if you want, but just providing a Slasher super type instead. But he's really good, you know, providing color affinity, can potentially provide an attack boost, and I really like the unique effect of Oden of any Slasher or Free Spirit character that has an attacker and orb boosting special that used after Oden. It gets a plus 0.25 extra, meaning that the combination between him and Toki is going to be incredible. Instead of Toki's orb and attack boost being a 3.5, it goes up to a 3.75, so just additional damage across the board, which is wicked. It can make the Whitebeard and Roger unit with their switch effect become a 1.75 just naturally every turn, rather than being a 1.5, so that's wicked. Just this unit's awesome. This unit can provide so much, and I like the fact that if you're below 50%, you can get a heal and damage reduction, so dealing with death hits is wicked. You can deal with that. Oden is a really awesome unit, and for that reason, I do want to put him relatively high. I do think he's around here, like top of tier 0. I definitely don't think he's top 5. No way in my mind can I put him at top 5. But from what I've experienced thus far, he has been relatively impressive, and I think he's a really good unit moving forward. Now, the last unit that we can talk about here is Kinemon and Denjiro, which is a unit that I don't personally own, so I'm just going off of what I've seen on paper, and this unit, honestly, does look incredible. The fact that you make recovery slots become into Wano, I like that, and the fact that you can partner him up with like even like V1 Oden, right, to make Dex, Tandem, and recovery slots all become Wano. That is insane. And I like their special too. Their special is very powerful, providing the really cool utility of Rainbow and Blue Shield removal by 6 turns, really solid orb boosting effect, and if you use the V2 Oden special first, the orb boost from this guy becomes a 3x orb boost to Slasher and Free Spirit. That's wicked. And also they give a base attack boost as well. Their switch effect being super unique with the Slasher down resistance, which is a new mechanic that we haven't seen yet, and that's going to be hard to kind of scale as that kind of move forwards into the future, because we don't know, is the enemy going to have like a new buff on their side of the field where they have a resistance to certain classes, meaning that they're kind of like restricting you to build certain classes to get around the content. But if you have an effect that can switch to instantly get rid of that, that's going to be really cool, and I'm very excited to see how it's going to be abused in the future. Or maybe the enemy will never have like a full resistance to anything, but you know, just adding these resistance down debuffs to the enemy just allows you to get additional damage for free. So maybe that's going to be the path they're going to take. Speaking of Kinemon and Denjiro though, I think they're around the same level, to be honest. I think in a lot of cases you may say that they're better, because the thing about Kinemon and Denjiro is that they have utility, and Oden doesn't have utility. I mean, I guess if you count the damage reduction and heal as a utility, then sure, but I think the utility that Kinemon and Denjiro have on top of the damage boosting effects that they can provide are just absolutely wicked. So for those reasons, I'm going to leave them slightly above Oden for now, but of course as we move into the next month of March, that may change. So definitely keep an eye on this one when we move forward into 2022 in April, because that's going to be the next tier list, and who knows what's going to release during this month as well, because we have the treasure map, we have the Kizuna that still could potentially release another legend, and if they do, I mean, it could be more Wano themed related stuff, which could go in hand with these two guys, so we'll have to wait and see what they're going to do. But I'm very excited to see what does come out throughout the month of March, because it's really going to shuffle this tier list. But I mean, it's crazy, for the past couple months this top 5 hasn't really changed in terms of the units there. I mean, the order of these units have shifted slightly, but the actual units there haven't really shifted, and Toki being bumped up, it just goes to show. I think Toki is just such a good unit. If you ever get the opportunity to potentially get that unit, I would probably go for it. If we get the upcoming Kizuna Clash Sugo Fest and she's a featured unit on it, we'll have to wait and see, but if she's there, she's probably worth getting. She's just so good. She's just so good. But with all that being said, that is going to wrap up yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.